Hi, we meet once again from the online platform. Welcome you all to the video series since we can't have physical classes in these days. So we were in the middle of discussing auditing standards with regard to gathering audit evidence. With regard to the gathering audit evidence, collection of audit evidence, we were discussing auditing standards. If you can remember, we discussed SLAUS 500 audit evidence, then 520 analytical procedures, then audit sampling. Those particular standards we have discussed. So the same discussion we had, we will be continuing. That particular discussion we will be continuing once again, where we will be discussing today SLAUS 540, Sri Lanka auditing standard number 540, auditing of accounting estimates. So we will be discussing that particular standard today, and thereafter in the next parts of the this particular videos we will be discussing using the work of internal audit and using the work of expert like a valuer, how the work of a valuer can be used for our audit purpose, and how the work of an internal auditor, if the client has internal audit division, how it is used for our purpose. We'll be discussing them. So today we will be going to discuss very important standards in exam wise, which will be useful for all of you. So again, I am reiterating the point where we will be discussing the theory stuff from the video. The related questions on these, when we meet up in the physical class, once again, we will be discussing the questions inside the class. So what will happen, any doubtful area which you have, right, from the videos, you can raise them when we are discussing the questions inside the class. So I will make sure that you will not lose anything, right, even though there is this particular situation in the country where we are meeting up in online session. You will meet, you will not lose anything, since the videos, the related questions, we'll be discussing inside the class. So these standards once again covered when we are doing the questions in the physical class. So in that way we will be continuing the program, right? So good. So we will start today's auditing standard. It's SLAUS 540, auditing of accounting estimates. So Sri Lanka auditing standard number 540, auditing of accounting estimates. Write this down in your notebooks. SLAUS 540, auditing of accounting estimates. Great. So in this standard, what are the learning outcomes, right? After learning these standards, what sort of a knowledge will be there in your mind? So learning outcomes, after learning this particular SLAUS 540, you will be able to define and estimate. What is an accounting estimate? You will be able to define and estimate, and you will be able to provide some examples of estimates. Then you will be able to provide, you will be able to do a risk assessment. Risk assessment for estimates. Right? You will be able to perform a risk assessment for auditing for accounting estimates, and then you will be able to respond to risk. You will be able to respond to the risk of estimates. I will tell you accounting estimates have some kind of a risk. So how auditors will respond to the risk. We'll be learning that. Then finally, substantive audit procedures for accounting estimates. We'll be learning that, right? Audit procedures for accounting estimates. We are discussing that as well. So it's a comprehensive standard. Once again, learning outcomes, just see. It's a very comprehensive standard and highly used in our practice. We'll be learning that during next 1.5 hours time. That's SLAOS 540. Right, so we will start the discussion with the definition. Define. Right, estimate. Accounting estimate. Define accounting estimate. What it is? What is it? Right? Define accounting estimate. Now, go back to your financial accounting principles. Right? Now, in your financial statements, in your ledger, people, you will find some accounts are there, some assertions, accounts, balances are there, which the exact figure you know. Right? Exact transaction value, exact figure you know. You know it, right? Now, if I give you an example, the traveling expenditure for a particular period, you know it exactly because you have paid it from your petty cash or your main cash. So you know the figure. Let's say rupees 100,000, rupees 50,000, cash credit, traveling expenditure account debit, you know the figure. Right? It's an absolute amount. Let's say salaries and wages, when you pay that, you know it's exactly that particular amount of money. That's that, right? You know it because you can measure it from monetary terms and you know the exact figure of the payment. That's one aspect of your financial record keeping. However, when you go through your ledger, when you go through your balances, when you go through your accounts, you guys will see some accounts and assertions are there which they are not exact figures. They are not exact figures. They are some estimates made by the accountants. They are some estimates made by the accountants. Accountants make estimates in the financial statements. Those are that. Can you give me some examples of estimates that are there in your financial statement which you do, where you don't know the exact figure? I'll give you some examples. Number one is the value of depreciation. Depreciation provision. Depreciation. The provision. Right? It's an estimate. Guys, give me a moment. So, sorry for that. Disturbances, no? I have to manage this and other work and all. Right, sorry. So, now, there are some figures which are exact amounts in the financial statements, like traveling expenditure, salaries and wages, or let's say postage, let's say purchasing, right, or revenue. Those are exact figure which you know the absolute amount of value. But in the financial statements, there are some more figures which you get, which are not exact figures, but they are what? They are estimates. They are estimated amounts, like depreciation provision, one, right? Another one, let's say bad and doubtful debts provision. Bad and doubtful debts. Then provision for inventory obsolescence. Inventory obsolescence. Impairment. Impairment. All these are estimated amounts. All these are estimated amounts. Right? See, now let's take depreciation provision. Now depreciation provision itself an estimate, right? Now you don't know the exact value of physical wear and tear. How much of physical damage which has happened, how much of physical worn out wear and tear, you don't know. But what you do? You apply a particular depreciation rate, and based on that, provision for depreciation will be calculated. And let's say bad and doubtful debts, that's again a provision, right? That's again an estimate where you don't know the exact future value of bad debts. So what you do, you apply, let's say 10, 15, 30% of rate based on your previous experience, and you make a provision expecting that they will go bad in future. It's an estimated amount. Let's say provision for inventory obsolescence and expiry. That again, based on previous experience, you set aside a part of your profit from your inventory. That is an estimated figure. And impairment is also one thing where you make an estimate between, let's say, fair value and recoverable amount as well as the carrying value. And if there is a reduction, you make a provision. Now, all these are estimates where the value you don't know. Now, when the management, when the accountants, when they make estimates, right? When they make estimates, what they do is, they most of the time do some what? Some assumptions they do. Assumptions they do. Since they don't know the exact value, what they do? They make some smart assumptions. And based on the assumptions, the value will be arrived at. Example, depreciation provision is based on assumptions. What are the assumptions? Assumptions are, let's say, useful life. Let's say this particular motor vehicle will be used in good condition for 3, 4, 5 years. Is an assumption. You don't know whether it is used for 5 years or maybe 10 years, but you say it will be used for 5 years. It is an assumption. Then, bad and doubtful debts provision. You say previous average experience of bad debts is this much. So next year also I will assume that particular rate will be there. So that's an assumption. So estimations, and another example, impairment also based on assumptions, right? What are the assumptions? The discounting factor, future cash flows, the fair value calculation, everything are based on assumptions. So estimates where you don't know the exact figure are always based on assumptions. Get my point, right? Always based on assumptions. So since you don't know the exact value, they are based on assumptions. So for the time being, keep in mind this particular word, assumptions. Estimate is based on assumptions. Like depreciation provision, useful life, let's say useful life, scrap value. It's an assumption, right? You don't know in 5 years' time you will get that scrap value or not. But from today you assume that particular value. It's an assumption. Then bad and doubtful debts. Previous bad debts percentage, it's an assumption. Inventory obsolescence, previous expiry percentage, impairment, discounting factor, DCF percentage, cash flow, all these are assumptions. So, estimates. The point that we learned so far is that in your financial statements, there are some figures which you know the exact value, and there are some figures which you don't know the exact value. So what you do, based on an assumption, you are doing an estimate. Get the point? So, in your SLA US 540, auditing of accounting estimates are defined like this. Accounting estimate is an approximation of the value when the absolute amount is not known. Once again, the definition, right? Take the definition into your mind. Accounting estimate is an approximation of the value when the absolute amount is not known. හරියටම ගාන දන්නේ නැති වෙලාවට අපි කරන approximation එකක්. Approximation of the value when the absolute amount is not known is known as what? Accounting estimates. Estimate. Get my point, right? So the examples are depreciation, bad and doubtful debts, impairment, inventory obsolescence. Likewise, you have a lot of estimates in your mind. So write in your notebook. In your notebook, write down. In the financial statements, some figures are exact amounts. Some figures are exact amounts which are directly calculated. Which are directly calculated. However, in the situations of write in different color. Situations of exact amount is not known. Situations of exact amount is not known. In the situations of exact amount is not known, the auditor has to, exact amount is not known, the management has to write in different color, use assumptions. Management has to use assumptions. And arrive at an approximate figure. arrive at an approximate figure. Full stop. Write in different color. Subheading, heading, the definition of an estimate. The definition of an estimate. Definition of an estimate. Right there. An accounting estimate is accounting estimate is write in different color, is an approximation of the monetary amount, an approximation of the monetary amount is an approximation of the monetary amount approximation of the monetary amount in the absence of precise 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 means of measurement. In the absence of precise means of measurement. Absence of precise means of measurement. Precise means of measurement. So that's the definition. It's an approximation in the absence of absolute value, right? So thereafter, write down these examples. These are examples and the related assumptions. Write down this entire thing. Great. Good. Now, I wanted you to put an asterisk here, star mark. Assumptions, right? It's very important. Now, I told you estimates are based on what? Estimates are based on assumptions, right? And the figure is not an exact precise value. It's based on assumptions. Since these estimates are based on assumptions, people, there is a high degree of risk in estimates. Get my point? Since the estimates are based on assumptions, estimates involve a high degree of risk. You get my point once again? Now, the risk is that the management can change the assumptions from here and there, change the assumptions from year to year, and make some unrealistic assumptions, and with that, the estimated figure will be changed. And when the estimated figure is changed, what will happen? It will have an impact on the profit, it will have an impact on the financial position of the company. When you make some unrealistic assumptions, that will have an impact on the profits and financial position of the business. Sometimes management use these assumptions in some instances to perform window dressing, to make window dressing. Examples, sometimes they will use that to overvalue the stocks. When you reduce the percentage of, let's say, allowance for inventory obsolescence, then that will reduce the amount of inventory that will be obsolete or expired. So ultimately the profit will go up, right? Or these assumptions will be manipulated by the management for the purpose of changing the profit and changing the statement of financial position. Very important. Keep that in mind, right? Get that point into your mind. Assumptions, using of assumptions for estimates makes it high risky. So rather than the precise exact values, estimated amounts in the financial statements involve a high risk. Get my point? If you take the traveling expenditure account and if you compare that with, let's say, impairment account, which one is more risky? Traveling expenditure or impairment? Impairment is more risky because it uses assumptions. Assumptions can be artificially, fraudulently can be changed. Intentionally, deceive, it can be changed to make unnecessary adjustments. It is a risk. Maybe involving frauds, maybe involving misstatements. Get my point? So, misstatements use assumptions. So, estimates use assumptions. So, estimates involve which kind of a risk? Audit risk has three parts. What are those? Inherent risk, control risk, and the detection risk, DR. AR equals IR into CR into DR. Estimates involve which kind of risk? Estimate involves what? Inherent risk. Inherent risk. Why? Because they use assumptions, so there is high degree of risk in accounting estimates. Get my point? Estimates, rather than any other figure in the financial statements, involve high risky. So if it is involving high risk, how about our audit attention? Should we devote more time for that? Yes, as per our audit strategy. Audit strategy, can you remember? SLOS 300. When there is estimates, when there are risk items, we have to devote more attention to that. Get my point? We are doing SLOS 200, overall objective of the audit. Which kind of audits we are performing? We are performing, is it procedural audit or risk-based audits? We are performing risk-based audit. So when the area involves more risk estimates, we have to perform more audit procedures on that. Get my point? Relate all these to the standards that we have discussed. Estimates use assumptions. Assumptions can be altered, so involve inherent risk. We are performing risk-based auditing, so we have to perform audit procedures. SLAUS 540 is linked to SLAUS 300, audit planning, and SLAUS 200 overall objective of the audit. Standards are linked. Got the point? So write down. Subheading in your notebook, a small heading. Heading, risk of estimates. Risk of estimates. Risk of estimates. Risk of estimates. So below that, explain. The accounting estimates use right in different color assumptions in their computation. Assumptions in their computation. Assumptions in their computation. Comma. Since the assumptions can be altered fraudulently, since the assumptions can be altered fraudulently, assumptions can be altered fraudulently, such fraudulent activity will have an impact fraudulent activity will have an impact on the profitability as well as the financial position of the business. As well as the financial position of the business. As well as the financial position of the business. Therefore, accounting estimates include write in different color, inherent risk on the audit. Inherent risk on the audit, which will ultimately result in audit risk. Leave a line and write in the next line. Write in your next line. Write in your next line. Put a asterisk, star mark. Put a small star mark and write. Podi Tarwad Dalian, star mark. Under risk-based auditing, within brackets SLAUS 200. risk-based auditing, SLOS 200. The auditor has to devote more attention. Auditor has to devote more attention to accounting estimates. In his audit procedures. Within brackets, SLAUS 200 audit strategy. SLAUS 200 audit strategy. SLAUS 200 audit strategy. Full stop. Okay, got it, right? Great. Go to your tutorial page number 37. Tutorial page number 37 in your tute. Right? Good. Page number 37. Auditing of accounting estimates. Read it with me. SLAUS 500, highlight that. Auditing of accounting estimates, including fair value accounting estimates and related disclosures. When auditing accounting estimates, the auditors must, highlight, test the management process, use an independent estimate, and review subsequent events. Test the management process, use an independent estimate, and review subsequent events. That's what auditor has to do. Test the management's process, use an independent estimate, and review subsequent events. In order to assess whether the estimates are reasonable, the nature of accounting estimates. In that, read the second para. An accounting estimate, highlight, is an approximation of the monetary amount in the absence of a precise means of measurement. It is an approximation of the monetary amount in the absence of precise means of measurement. Estimation uncertainty means, uncertainty of estimate means what? That means estimated amount will not be the absolute amount, right? Where, let's say, estimated bad and doubtful debts will not be the actual bad debts, right? Estimation uncertainty is the susceptibility, highlight, of an accounting estimate and the related disclosures to inherent lack of precision in its measurement. Highlight, inherent lack of precision in its measurement. Management's point estimate. It is the amount selected by the management for recognition or disclosure in the financial statement as an accounting estimate. It is the amount of estimate created by the management. Like, write down example. Impairment value computed by the management. Impairment value computed by the management. Another example. Value of bad and doubtful debts computed by computed by the management. Right, done? Okay, great. Next one. Auditor's point estimate or auditor's range is the amount or range of amount, respectively, highlight, derived from the audit evidence for the use in evaluating management's point estimate. So it's an estimation that is done by the management. Examples given: allowance for bad and doubtful debts accounts, allowance for inventory obsolescence, warranty obligations, depreciation, outcome of long-term contract. Likewise, I have given you a lot of examples of estimates. So take 2 minutes, read what we have done so far, definition of estimate, examples, why estimates are so risky, why we have to devote more attention to estimates. Great. Now, so far, whatever the standards which we have done, in each and every standard, we have identified the respective responsibilities for a particular task, particular activity of the management and the auditor. Right? So, in this one also, SLAS 540, auditing of accounting estimates, we will identify the responsibility of management and the responsibility of the auditor. So, people, who is responsible for preparation of financial statements, internal controls, prevention of frauds, laws and regulations, 240, 250, 260, who is responsible? For preparation of financial statements, internal controls, fraud prevention, compliance, everything, it's the responsibility of the management. So the same way, the responsibility for making assumptions, responsibility for doing the estimate and recording the estimate, making the approximations, entire responsibility lies with the management of the organization. Auditor doesn't have any responsibility for the estimate of a client company. Get my point? Very important. The primary responsibility of making an estimate lies with whom? Lies with the management of the organization. Auditor doesn't have any responsibility of making an estimate. And for the assumptions also, auditor doesn't have any responsibility. So, management is responsible for making and also disclosures. Because every estimate comes with what? A disclosure, right? And auditor, we don't have any responsibility for estimates. But we are not responsible for making the estimate, recording it, assumptions. All these is the responsibility of management. Making estimates, disclosure, assumptions, everything is the responsibility of the management. We don't have any responsibility for that. Right? However, auditor is responsible with regard to estimates for three things. We have to identify management's process. Give me a moment. Auditor is responsible for three things. Number one, identify management's process and purpose of estimate. I will explain them. And number two, make an independent estimate. Number three, third one, we have to evaluate subsequent events. Events, evaluation. Look at this. Who is responsible for making an estimate for related assumptions? Right? It is the responsibility of the management. Make disclosures, assumptions, everything. Auditor is not responsible. Auditor not responsible for making estimate. Made or assumptions. Auditor is responsible. Auditor is responsible for three things. Number one, auditor has to identify what is the process of the management of making the estimate. What are the internal controls, right? Now let's say, and also purpose. ඇයි management එක මේ estimate එක කරන්නේ? ඒක අපි identify කරන්න ඕන. Whether it is for window dressing, fraudulent financial reporting, ඒකටද කියලා පොඩ්ඩක් බලන්න ඕන. We have to check that. We have to evaluate that. So identify management's process and purpose of estimate. මේගොල්ලෝ මොකද මේක කරන්නේ? මේගොල්ලන්ගේ හිතේ තියෙන කැමැත්ත මොකද්ද මේ estimate එක කරන්න? Number two, auditor also has to do an independent estimate. Auditor's point estimate. Perform independent estimate. He also has to do an independent estimate. Perform. We call it reperform. Audit procedure එකක් තියෙනවනේ අපිට. Reperform or recalculate. Reperform and recalculate. Right? If the management has done, as an example, if the management has done a depreciation calculation, management has done, let's say, a bad and doubtful debts calculation, in the audit, we also reperform it. No, independently we also do. And subsequent events estimate. And what we have to do, now after 31st March, go to, let's say, April bank statement, go to April accounts and see whether the estimate done on 31st March is okay. So evaluate subsequent events. Whether, now subsequent events will tell you whether the estimate done on 31st March is actually the correct amount. Now let's say you have provided for inventory obsolescence on 31st March. So what you can do, go for the financial statements of let's say interim accounts of April, May, June, and see whether those provided inventory has gone obsolete or let's say expired. So do a subsequent events review. Management is responsible for making disclosure and assumptions. Auditor is responsible for identification of management's process and purpose. Do an independent estimate, reperform, and evaluate subsequent events. Auditor is not responsible for making an estimate. So write this down, the responsibility in your notebook. Put it down. Okay, right? Done? Great. Good. So far, what we have done, we have identified the definition of estimate, why it's involved in more risk, because it is using assumptions, right? And we have identified management's estimate, auditor's estimate, and finally, we have evaluated the responsibilities of estimates. We are doing the standard very comprehensively, right? So if you are using these standards for your university studies or somewhere else, still you have a very good understanding of the standard itself, right? So in that manner we are doing, even in the video itself, right? So there is no chance for any one of you to forget all this. Right. Now, risk assessment. Now, people, we have identified estimates involving high risk. We know it because they are using what? Using assumptions. They use assumptions, so involving high risk. So what we have to do, we have to perform a risk assessment. So before learning that, once again move on to characteristics of estimates. Now, in accounting estimates, you would have seen, right? You would have seen in accounting estimates. I gave you some examples, no? Examples. One, depreciation provision, right? Then impairment. Then what? Then inventory obsolescence, right? Let's say bad and doubtful debts provision, right? Now, if you take all these estimates that we do, you would have seen those estimates are based on a particular accounting standard. Are you agree with me? Right? Now, estimates are based on a particular accounting standard. The standards say, accounting standards say, how we have to make the estimate. Standard gives us the guidelines to make the estimate. Agree or not? Yes. As per the accounting standard, the relevant LKS, we have to do the estimate. You get my point, right? Now, if you take inventory obsolescence, provision for inventory obsolescence, that is based on what? That is based on LKS 2. LKS 2, the standard says how you have to make the estimate. Estimate එක කරන විදිය standard එක අපිට දීලා තියෙනවා. And let's say another one, provision for bad and doubtful debts. Provision for bad and doubtful debts is based on LKS 1. Right? LKS 1 says prudency concept. Prudency concept, විචක්ෂණ සංකල්පය කියලා අහලා තියෙන්නේ. In the as per the prudency concept, for future losses we have to make a provision now. Standard says we have what we have to do. Impairment LKS 36. The standard says what you have to do. Provision for depreciation, the relevant standards say what we have to do. So, all estimates that the management are doing should be based on the relevant accounting framework. Get my point? So, estimate has to be done based on the relevant accounting framework. Important, write in your notebook. Right? So, write that in your notebook. Write in different color. Accounting framework. Accounting framework. Accounting framework. Accounting framework. Right there. Management have to perform the accounting estimate, have to perform the accounting estimate based on a respective accounting standard. A respective accounting standard. Respective accounting standard. As such, all activities related to making an accounting estimate, should be done in accordance with relevant accounting framework. In accordance with relevant accounting framework. Write down an example. Write an example. Provision for inventory obsolescence. Provision for inventory obsolescence. Provision for inventory obsolescence. Based on provision for inventory obsolescence based on LKS 2, comma, impairment based on LKS 36. LKS 36. Depreciation based on depreciation based on LKS 16. LKS 16. Sri Lanka Accounting Standard number 16. LKS 16. So last line, as such, the auditors have to have a proper understanding. Have to have a proper understanding about the relevant accounting framework. About the relevant accounting framework. Proper understanding about the relevant accounting framework. Full stop. Right? Done? Great. Good. Right? Done? C. Look at this. Risk assessment. Now, look at this. We all learned that estimates include risk, right? Which risk? Audit risk and inherent risk. So, auditor has to perform a risk assessment. Under risk assessment, first thing that the auditor has to do, auditor has to evaluate and understand relevant LKAS. That's very important. Get my point? Right? Auditor has to evaluate and understand the provisions in the relevant LKAS. That's what auditor has to do. Get the point? Evaluate and understand the provisions of the relevant LKAS. Now, to audit the estimate, we need to have a proper understanding on the standard, right? If we don't know the standard, we can't audit the estimate. So what we have to do, if you audit impairment, go to LKS 36 and then only you have to audit management's point estimate of impairment calculation. If we want to audit, let's say, inventory obsolescence, management's value, go to the standard, get the standard book, LKS 2, read it and then do it. If you want to audit, let's say, depreciation calculation, go to LKS 16, evaluate the provisions of the standard, and then evaluate the risk of the estimate. First thing that you have to do, evaluate and understand the relevant LKAs in your risk assessment. That's number one. Number two, evaluate assumptions. To assess the risk, you have to evaluate management's assumptions. What are the assumptions management has done? Whether they are reasonable or not. Assumptions reasonable than applicable. What are the methods management has performed? Have the management obtained approvals for the estimates? Evaluate them when you are making the accounting estimate risk assessment. Identify the provisions of the relevant standard. Standard provisions evaluate it. Then evaluate the assumptions that are made. Assumptions to put up balan, right? That's what very important. So go to page number 38. Page number 38. On top of page number 38, risk assessment procedures. Risk assessment procedures, for that place, put an asterisk. Put a star mark there. What is star got done? Put a star mark there. Put a star mark there and highlight risk assessment procedures. Right, great. Read it. SLAUS 540 standard states, SLAUS 540 states that the auditor shall obtain an understanding of the following to provide a basis for the identification and assessment of risk of material misstatements in accounting estimates. So what are the risk assessment procedures? Number one, the requirement of the applicable financial reporting framework. Auditor has to identify what is the requirement of the standard applicable accounting framework. Example, for inventory obsolescence, LKS 2. For inventory obsolescence, LKS 2. For inventory obsolescence, LKS 2, comma, for bad and doubtful debts, LKS 1 dash LKS 1. So identify the provisions in the relevant accounting framework. That's number one. Number two, how management identifies those transactions, events and conditions that may give rise to the need of accounting estimate. See how management identifies the transactions, that will require an estimate. Number two, how management makes the accounting estimates, an understanding of the data on which they are based. Understand the methods of making the estimate, relevant internal controls, within brackets, internal controls, within brackets, approval for estimate, relevant controls, approval for estimate, comma, assumptions, whether change from a prior period was used, and whether management has assessed the effect of uncertainty. The SLA US also states that auditor shall review the outcome of accounting estimate including the prior period. So identify previous period accounting estimate and see whether it is reasonable or not. So that's risk assessment procedures. Evaluate the relevant accounting standard. Number one, identify the transactions that have given rise to making the estimate. Evaluate the methods, controls, and assumptions of the estimate that the management has done. So read the risk assessment procedures once again. Read it once again. Right. Great. So, risk assessment procedure. So, how do you assess the risk? Number one, evaluate the relevant standards requirement. See what are the transactions that provided the management to make the particular estimate. Estimate a current hetunai. See that and see whether management has the relevant controls, methods of making the estimate, assumptions, things like that. Then, after you making an estimate, after you made the estimate, if you have identified any risk, you have to respond, right? For the assessed risk, you have to respond by yourself. Api ඊට පස්සේ ඒක respond කරන්න ඕන. So how do you respond? How do you respond? Responding, identify whether management has identified all events up to the date of the statement of financial position and for the auditor's report. Identify all subsequent events have identified when making the estimate. Now, as an example, if you have made a bad and doubtful debts provision as at 31st March, see whether up to the date of the auditor's report, subsequent events have identified. Bad and doubtful debts provision එකක් කරා නම්, if you have made the provision, see whether up to the date of the auditor's report, let's say that subsequent period no, April, May වෙනකම්ම period එකක් අපිට තියෙනවනේ. ඒ දවස් වලට ගිහිල්ලා බලන්න මේ debtorsලා provide කරපු කට්ටිය bad ගිහිල්ලා තියෙනවද කියලා. Up to the date of the auditor's report, see whether bad and doubtful debts which you have provided on 31st March have actually materialized. Events up to the date of the auditor's report, whether they have identified that. If needed, auditor make your own estimate as well. ඔයාගේ estimate එකක් ඔයත් කරලා බලන්න. ඕගොල්ලෝ කරනවනේ audit එකේදී. Depreciation ඕගොල්ලෝ calculate කරනවා, impairment calculate කරනවා. Perform your own point estimate. See whether risk is addressed by you. So, go to page number 38. Page 38. Responding to the assessed risk. How do you respond? See, the SLAUS require the auditor to perform one or more of the following. We have to perform one or more of these audit procedures. Determine whether, highlight, events occurring up to the date of the auditor's report provide audit evidence regarding the accounting estimate. Highlight, whether events occurring up to the date of the auditor's report provide evidence regarding the estimate. See whether events occurring up to the auditor's report provide evidence of the estimate. So put a reference there. Then reference එකක් දාන්න and write at the bottom. Right at the bottom. In bottom, right there. Example. Example. For the provision of bad and doubtful debts. For the provision of bad and doubtful debts, which was made in 31st March 2020. For the provision of bad and doubtful debts, which was made in 31st March 2020. Made in 31st March 2020. Comma, the auditor must evaluate subsequent events. Auditor must evaluate subsequent events up to the date of the auditor's report. Up to the date of the auditor's report. Up to the date of the auditor's report. Up to the date of the auditor's report, such as evaluate whether such provided doubtful debts. Such provided doubtful debts. Provided doubtful debts. Evaluate whether such provided doubtful debts as of 31st March, such provided doubtful debts as of 31st March, as of 31st March, have actually gone bad, have actually gone bad, have actually gone bad actually gone bad until the date of the auditor's report. Until the date of the auditor's report. See, actually what is that? That is evaluate the reasonability of the estimate. ඇත්තරම estimate එක කළාද නැද්ද කියලා කරපු estimate එක ඇත්තරම වෙලාද නැද්ද කියලා බලන්න. මොකද නැත්තම් මේගොල්ලෝ බොරුවටත් කරනවනේ. They do they make the provision or whatever falsely, no. So evaluate whether it is actually happened. Go to next one. Number 2, second response. Test how management made the accounting estimate and the data on which it's based. කොහොමද ඒගොල්ලෝ එක කරේ and the data. Test the operating effectiveness of controls and how estimate was made. Develop a point estimate or a range to evaluate management's point estimate. Develop a range. Within brackets, reperform estimate. Reperform estimate. Right, last part. Substantive procedures. Detailed audit procedures for estimate. Risk assessment done, and how you respond to risk done. Next. Substantive procedure for estimate. Right. What we can do, audit procedures. Now, substantive procedures means what? Detailed audit procedures that the auditors do to evaluate assertions, no? Now, test of controls means procedures which you perform for your internal controls, and substantive procedures means procedures performed for assertions. What do you have to do? Substantive procedures are basically focused on assumptions, right? අපේ detailed audit procedures අපි focus කරන්නේ assumptions වලට. Assumptions on the estimate. So, what are the procedures? Number 1, see whether management has evaluated all the assumptions and alternative assumptions as well. Let's say whether they have evaluated, I'm giving you an example, let's say depreciation provision. See whether alternative assumptions have done. Let's say 5 years useful life or 4 years useful life. And whether they have given a justification for that. Motor vehicle, 4 years or 5 years, whether they have given a justification. Evaluated alternative assumptions. Assumptions keep evaluate kala hari එක ගත්තද. Evaluated alternative assumptions. If you need, make your own estimate. Auditor make your own estimate. ඔයාම estimate එකක් කළා අරක reasonable නැස්ද බලන්න. And see whether assumptions are reasonable or not. for, let's say, a particular motor vehicle, 5 years useful life, see whether it's reasonable or not. Let's say discounting factor for fair value calculation, see whether 12%, 10% the discounting factor used by the management is fair, reasonable as per the market conditions. Ever reasonable the Gilbert Dabbalan. So evaluate the reasonableness of your assumptions. Likewise, perform your substantive procedures. So go to page number 39. Page 39 in your tutorial. Substantive procedures in response for significant risk. Number 1, evaluate how management has considered, highlight, alternative assumptions, considered alternative assumptions, and why these assumptions have been rejected. Like, select කරපු assumptions අර වෙන assumptions බලලා ඇයි ඒව reject කරේ කියලා බලන්න. Whether the assumptions are reasonable or not, highlight. Whether assumptions used are reasonable or not. Management's intent to carry out specific courses of actions and the ability to do so, right? And other audit procedures, evaluate whether the accounting estimates are reasonable or not, assumptions are reasonable or not. Next one, very important. Obtain sufficient and appropriate audit evidence about whether disclosures are correct. Disclosures කරපුවා ඇද්ද කියලා බලන්න. Likewise, you have audit procedures. For accounting estimates that give rise to significant risk, evaluate whether disclosures on estimation uncertainty. And next one, whether there is any bias or not. Last one, obtain a written representation from the management, whether management believes significant assumptions are reasonable. Finally, pass the responsibility to the management by obtaining a written representation from the management. Take a moment and read the substantive procedures. Substantive procedures to put a keyword. Assumptions reasonable or not? Number 1. See whether alternative assumptions you have used. එකට අමතරව වෙනව use කරාද කියලා පොඩ්ඩක් බලන්න. See whether estimation is biased or not. Right? මේක මොනවා හරි window dressing පාවිච්චි කරලාද බලන්න. Right? Biased or not. Likewise, go through the substantive procedures. Right, audit procedures, right? What are the audit procedures? See whether management has evaluated the alternative assumptions. Evaluate the reasonability of the assumptions used. If needed, do your own estimate. See whether the estimate is involving bias. That means whether the estimate is not reasonable assumptions. And finally, obtain a written representation. Good, right? So that's basically SLA US 540 accounting estimates, right? So take your sticky notes, obtain them, take your sticky notes. For your short note purpose. And right there, SLA US 540, Sri Lanka Auditing Standard number 540, accounting estimates. Accounting estimates. First point, definition of estimate. Definition of estimate. Definition of estimate. Next one, examples of estimates. What are the examples of estimates? Next one, reason why estimates are involving risk. Reasons why estimates are involving risk. Reasons why estimates are involving risk. Reasons why estimates are involving risk. Next one, risk assessment procedures. Risk assessment procedures. Risk assessment procedures. Next one, methods of responding for risk. Methods of responding for. Methods of responding for. Methods of responding for. Responding for. Methods of responding for. Risk of estimates. Next one, substantive audit procedures for. Substantive procedures for. Substantive procedures for estimates. Substantive procedures for estimates. So it's a very important standard, right? Auditing of accounting estimates, several times tested in your exam. Once again, I'm repeating these standards. The theory part we will do in this particular video series, and the questions, past papers and model questions we will be doing in the class. So physically also we are interacting. So if you have any doubt here by the videos, when we are doing the relevant question, you guys can raise those doubts with me, right? So what we do, we'll have a break. We will go to another video. In the next video, we will be moving on to SLAS 620 using the work of auditors experts, right? We are evaluating the work of a valuer, then an engineer, how to use those work. So what we do, we move on to a break, another video. Then the next video we'll be going to those particular the auditing standards. So meet up in the next video. Thank you.